Most men believe attraction is something you manufacture with clever lines, complicated strategies, or perfectly crafted conversations. But the truth is far simpler and far more powerful. A woman doesn't respond to the words you say nearly as much as she responds to the energy behind them. Your presence, your calmness, confidence, emotional clarity, and grounded masculinity speaks louder than any sentence ever could. When you approach a woman with tension, nervousness, or an agenda, she feels it immediately. Women are emotionally intuitive in ways many men underestimate. They pick up on micro-expressions, tone changes, hesitation, and insecurity faster than you think. And no matter how perfect your line is, if the energy behind it is shaky, the attraction dies before it even begins. But when a man stands in his presence, relaxed shoulders, steady eye contact, grounded breathing, secure in who he is, he becomes instantly more magnetic. Presence is the silent language of confidence, and women feel it before you even speak. Think about it. The most attractive men in movies and real life aren't attractive because of what they say. They're attractive because of how they move, how they hold themselves, how they react to the world around them. They are calm when others panic, composed when others overthink, and confident even when the situation is uncertain. That presence creates an aura that naturally pulls people toward them, especially women. Presence also communicates something essential. You are not seeking validation. Women can sense the difference between a man who approaches because he's curious and open and a man who approaches because he needs approval or attention. When you're present, you're not trying to impress her. You're simply expressing who you are. That lack of desperation is unbelievably attractive because it signals emotional strength. A man who is rooted in himself is rare. He doesn't need to prove anything. He doesn't need to be careful with his words. He doesn't need to overcompensate. His presence alone does the work. This is why rehearsed pickup lines fail. They come from a place of fear, the fear of not being enough. A man thinks he needs the perfect sentence to hide his insecurity, but a woman sees through that instantly. What she truly responds to is authenticity. A man who can walk up, pause, breathe, and speak from a grounded place communicates far more attraction than any memorized line ever could. His presence makes her feel safe yet excited, calm yet curious, comfortable yet drawn in. That balance is what creates real attraction. So presence is not about trying to be impressive. It's about being comfortable in your own skin. It's about letting go of the need to perform. When you are fully grounded in yourself, your words naturally carry weight. Your tone naturally becomes attractive, and your energy naturally becomes unforgettable. In the end, it's not about the line, it's about the man who delivers it. Presence is the real magic. The reason the line, "I like your vibe and I wanted to come talk to you," works so powerfully is because it is the perfect blend of honesty, clarity, and confidence. 3 things women rarely experience from men. Most men either hide their interest, over-explain it, or try to mask it behind jokes and complicated conversation. But this simple sentence cuts straight through all the noise. It lets her know exactly why you approached, without being intense, needy, or overwhelming. It's direct enough to show intention, but relaxed enough to feel natural. And that combination makes it incredibly attractive. Women are used to men approaching with either too much pressure or too much hesitation. One guy tries too hard, acting overly charming or pretending to be someone he's not. Another guy is so nervous that his energy becomes awkward and uncomfortable. But this line places you in the middle, the sweet spot where confidence meets calmness. When you tell a woman, "I like your vibe," you're giving a compliment that's deeper than physical appearance. You're saying you noticed her energy, her presence, the aura she gives off. That feels meaningful. It shows you are perceptive, not shallow. It separates you from men who only compliment surface-level features. And women feel that difference immediately. What makes it even more effective is that it doesn't demand anything from her. You're not asking for approval. You're not forcing a reaction. You're simply expressing a genuine observation. That removes pressure. It creates a comfortable, open space where she can respond however she wants. This freedom actually increases the chance of a positive reaction because she doesn't feel cornered or judged. Instead, she feels seen but not hunted, appreciated but not objectified. The second part of the line, "and I wanted to come talk to you," shows initiative. It shows bravery. It shows intention. Instead of making small talk or pretending you just happened to be near her, you're owning your desire to connect. Women respect that level of directness because it feels mature. It tells her you're not a boy looking for tricks. You're a man who knows what he wants and isn't afraid to voice it. That alone sets you apart from 90% of men who avoid clarity because they fear rejection. The beauty of this line is that it can't sound manipulative. It's too simple, too clean, too authentic. You're not using hidden psychology or word games. You're just being real. And women have an almost instinctive ability to feel when a man is speaking truthfully. When your line comes from a genuine place, your tone lowers, your shoulders relax, your eyes soften, and your presence becomes more grounded. She feels that. It disarms her. It makes her curious. It pulls her into the moment. This one sentence works because it reflects emotional intelligence, awareness of your feelings, confidence in expressing them, and respect for her autonomy. That is the kind of masculine clarity women find instantly magnetic. In a world full of men who hide behind jokes, ego, or fear, the man who can speak simply and honestly stands out like a light in the dark. Women are naturally drawn to men who move with certainty, because certainty is a form of emotional leadership. It's not aggressive, it's not controlling, and it's not loud. It's the quiet confidence of a man who knows who he is and what he wants. When you express your interest in a woman clearly and calmly, you communicate something deeper than attraction. You communicate stability. You become a grounding presence in a world full of uncertainty, mixed signals, and emotional inconsistency. That is why women respond so strongly to masculine certainty. It makes them feel safe, desired, and respected all at the same time. When you tell a woman directly why you approached her, you're doing something most men avoid. Many men hide their intentions because they're scared of rejection or judgment. They beat around the bush, start with meaningless small talk, or pretend they only want to be friends. Women see through this instantly, and it creates a sense of distrust. If a man can't even be honest with himself about why he's here, how can she trust his emotional maturity? But the moment you express interest clearly, you're showing her that you operate from truth, not fear. That confidence reflects a level of self-respect that women naturally admire. Masculine certainty also signals emotional security. A man who says what he means and means what he says is a man who isn't afraid of vulnerability. Approaching with clear intention means you're willing to risk hearing no, and that willingness alone shows strength. Women are not attracted to men who rely on validation to feel good about themselves. They're attracted to men who approach because they genuinely want to, not because they're trying to prove their worth. When you express interest directly, you show her that your self-esteem doesn't depend on her reaction. And nothing is more attractive than a man who wants you but doesn't need you. This certainty also creates emotional clarity. Women hate confusion when it comes to men. They don't want to wonder, does he like me? Or is he flirting or just being nice? When you make your intentions known, you remove all that guessing. This clarity is refreshing because it allows her to relax into the moment instead of overthinking it. A woman's attraction increases when she feels emotionally safe enough to be present, and your certainty gives her that safety instantly. But masculine certainty is not about being forceful or cocky. It's about expressing genuine interest without hesitation. It's the difference between, I hope she likes me, and I like her vibe, so I'm going to say something. One comes from insecurity. The other comes from confidence. When you operate with certainty, you also create a sense of comfort for her. She feels that your approach isn't chaotic or impulsive, it's intentional. You chose her for a reason, not out of desperation or boredom. In the end, masculine certainty is attractive because it represents leadership, confidence, emotional stability, and maturity. When you communicate with clarity, you show her that you're grounded in your identity. And a grounded man is a rare man. A man women notice, remember, and feel instantly drawn toward. Most men ruin their chances with women not because they're unattractive, but because they overthink every step of the interaction. They treat approaching a woman like solving a complicated puzzle. What should I say? How should I stand? What if she rejects me? What if I sound stupid? This internal noise creates tension, hesitation, and awkwardness that women instantly feel. But the truth is incredibly simple. Simplicity itself is attractive. The less you complicate things, the more naturally confident and masculine you appear. When you strip away all the unnecessary overthinking, what remains is authenticity. Women respond to authenticity more than anything else. They don't want a man who sounds like he memorized a script. They don't want someone who appears nervous because he's searching for the perfect opening line. They're drawn to men who move with ease, men who approach because they feel like it, speak because they want to, and express themselves without pressure or expectation. This natural simplicity gives your presence a relaxed energy, and that relaxed energy invites her in. Simplicity also communicates emotional maturity. When you're not overthinking, it shows you are comfortable with uncertainty. You're okay with however she reacts. You're not desperately trying to control the outcome. Most men approach with hidden pressure. They want a certain answer, a certain reaction, a win. But when you are genuinely relaxed, you remove that emotional weight. She doesn't feel like she's being tested or evaluated. She doesn't feel like your self-esteem is tied to her response. And that freedom is incredibly attractive. When you approach a woman with simple, clear intention, it also differentiates you from the majority of men who rely on gimmicks or nervous chatter. You stand out precisely because you're not trying to stand out. Your simplicity communicates, I'm enough as I am. That message is powerful. Women trust men who aren't trying too hard. When you approach with calm simplicity, you come across as emotionally grounded. You're not faking confidence, you actually feel it. And she can sense that. Removing overthinking also allows you to be present, and presence is the real engine behind attraction. When your mind is quiet, your body language becomes natural. Your eye contact becomes more genuine. Your voice becomes steadier and deeper. These subtle things make a massive difference. Women notice them instantly. You can't fake presence. You either have it or you don't. And presence only exists when you're not drowning in your thoughts. Simplicity also helps you enjoy the moment instead of fearing it. When you keep things easy, approaching a woman becomes enjoyable instead of stressful. You're not performing, you're just connecting. Women can feel the difference between a man who is enjoying the moment and a man who is trying to survive it. Joy is attractive, ease is attractive, comfort is attractive, and simplicity brings all of that to the surface. In the end, simplicity is powerful because it creates authenticity, emotional clarity, and relaxed confidence. When you stop overthinking and let yourself be natural, you become more attractive without even trying. Women don't want perfect, they want real. And real becomes effortless the moment you embrace simplicity. Women feel safe around men who are emotionally honest, direct, and grounded. And emotional safety is one of the most powerful foundations of attraction. When you approach a woman with straightforward, genuine communication, you immediately separate yourself from the countless men who hide their intentions, speak in confusing ways, or approach with unclear motives. Being real creates a sense of comfort because she doesn't have to guess what you want. She doesn't have to analyze your words, and she doesn't have to wonder if you're pretending. She can simply relax into the moment, and when a woman feels emotionally safe, her walls come down, her energy opens up, and her natural feminine presence flows out. That is where attraction truly begins. Most men think attraction is about being charming or smooth, but they forget the emotional experience they create for a woman. If she feels pressured, confused, judged, or manipulated, she closes off. If she feels safe, respected, and seen, she opens up. Emotional safety isn't about being soft or submissive. It's about being stable. It's the ability to communicate interest without being pushy, to hold eye contact without being intense, and to express yourself without fear. When you tell a woman exactly why you approached in a calm and grounded tone, it tells her you are emotionally secure. You aren't hiding anything. You aren't playing games. You are simply connecting. Directness also protects her from misinterpretation. Many women have experienced men who acted friendly only to reveal hidden motives later. This creates distrust, but when you're upfront from the beginning, I liked your vibe, so I wanted to say hi. You remove the hidden agenda. You give her clarity. She doesn't have to fear being blindsided or manipulated. She knows exactly what's happening, and that honesty gives her space to feel comfortable and open. Another reason this kind of honesty creates attraction is because it builds respect. Women respect men who can express themselves without fear of rejection. When you're real, you're showing her you value truth more than approval. That communicates strength. Women trust men who are strong enough to be direct because directness shows self-confidence and emotional maturity. When you're honest, you're also giving her the freedom to be honest in return. She doesn't have to pretend, perform, or act a certain way. She can respond naturally, which makes the interaction feel effortless and genuine. Emotional safety doesn't mean being boring. In fact, honesty can be incredibly exciting. It's refreshing. It's rare. It's bold. Women enjoy being around men who make them feel both comfortable and intrigued. Men who combine safety with masculine confidence. When a woman knows your intentions are clean and respectful, she can actually enjoy the flirtation without second-guessing your motives. This creates a natural flow of attraction. Her mind isn't busy protecting itself, so her heart is free to feel. Ultimately, emotional safety is the foundation upon which all real attraction is built. When you're honest, clear, and open, you create a space where she feels respected, valued, and understood. And when a woman feels that, she becomes receptive, curious, and drawn to your presence. Being real doesn't just make her feel safe, it makes you unforgettable. The truth is, words alone don't create attraction. The energy behind the words does. That's why the line only works when you truly mean it. Women have an incredible ability to sense authenticity. They can feel when a man is confident versus when he's pretending. They can tell when he's speaking from truth versus when he's chasing approval. When you say something you don't actually feel, your tone changes, your eyes shift, your body tenses up, and your presence becomes shaky. Even if you don't notice these micro reactions, she does. And once she senses inauthenticity, the attraction dissolves instantly. But when you genuinely mean what you say, when you actually feel drawn to her vibe, when you genuinely want to talk to her, when your intention is clean, your entire presence lines up with your words. Your body relaxes, your voice becomes steadier, and your energy becomes grounded. Women don't just hear your words, they feel your intention. That internal alignment is what creates the spark. It shows her that you're coming from a real place within yourself, not a performance or a strategy. Authenticity also reveals your emotional courage. Most men fear vulnerability. They fear expressing interest because they fear rejection. And when you fear rejection, your approach becomes hesitant, shaky, or overly calculated. But when you actually mean what you say, you're not performing for validation. You're simply expressing a truth. That willingness to be open without hiding or sugarcoating communicates strength. A man who can speak from his truth is rare, and women are naturally drawn to rare qualities. Meaning what you say also eliminates hidden pressure. When you are real, you don't expect a specific reaction. You're not trying to manipulate her into liking you. You're simply offering a genuine expression of interest. That lack of pressure makes her feel free, and freedom is one of the biggest factors in building attraction. A woman is far more likely to respond positively when she feels she can choose freely, not when she feels cornered or coerced. Another reason sincerity matters is because it sets the tone for how she perceives you moving forward. If your opening line is fake, she assumes your intentions might be fake too. But if your first words are real, she subconsciously categorizes you as honest and trustworthy. Attraction grows faster when trust is present, meaning what you say communicates emotional stability and integrity, qualities women instinctively look for in men. When your words come from who you truly are, not who you're trying to be, something powerful happens. You stop trying to impress her and you start expressing yourself. That shift changes everything. You become magnetic without force. You become confident without arrogance. You become interesting without effort. In the end, the reason this line works isn't because of the words. It's because of the intention, authenticity, and energy behind them. When you mean what you say, you speak with a power no pickup line can replicate. Women don't fall for perfect words. They fall for genuine men, and nothing makes a man more attractive than being real.